With the meeting's in order, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, I'd like to state that we did have an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss any litigation or personnel matters. We're going to start today with our stormwater management meeting. So we have the consideration of the January 24th, 2023 stormwater board meeting minutes. A motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to resolution number SW3 2023, resolution of the Board of Directors of the Department of Stormwater Management of the City of Hammond, accepting and authorizing execution of an on-call technical assistance professional services proposal from Christopher Burke Engineering LLC.
Make a motion for resolution number SW3 2023.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I know we don't have any old business. Any new business? Any reports from the directors? Any public expression? A motion for adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're finished with the stormwater meeting. We're going to the Hammond Sanitary District. Consideration of the April 11, 2023 board meeting minutes. And a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the CEO's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we had talked briefly in executive session, we're very close in total agreement with almost all three customer communities in principle. Now we're just waiting to get the final documents assigned. Griffith is the only one we still have to have some dialogue with on capacity. But the other two, Whiting and Highland, and pretty much everything's been agreed to and documents being formulated. So as we talked about at the last meeting, the mayor is very happy with the results. And I can only say it's been a long 9.5 years of a upward climb, because when we started that, I think those folks that were on the board at that time, we knew we were gonna have to go through the court system. We knew we were gonna have a lot of disgruntled folks. And if you remember, we lost to the Indiana Supreme Court. But because we were doing the right thing and kept moving forward and not letting that stop us, got us to where we are today. So it's a big achievement. I can only tell you that's a big monkey off my back. And you know, Commissioner Hawkins was almost at every one of those painful staking meetings with each of those communities over all those years. A lot of time spent in the negotiations and everything involved. So anyway, I'm very happy that we're almost there. I don't want to jinx it, but thank the board for being persistent and working with me to keep that alive to get to where we are today. So that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any questions for Marty?
I think I might add that the lawyers, local lawyer Joe and Marty, the staff have been long slog through some pretty deep stuff. At first, the customer community didn't even want to talk to agency. Think about that. They didn't want to talk. Went to the Supreme Court, lost. I happened to drive down there and see it that day, and I thought, you know, we're stuck now, right? But little by little, and keep going, you know, like the little train that kept going. We've gotten somewhere, and it's going to be really good financially for the district. So congratulations, everybody.
I think once we get everything settled, then we should put out something for the public to know how great of a job staff did to get this thing going, and how great it is for Hammond to get this thing in place with all the customer communities. Something like that.
I think there was a significant article in the newspaper about the town of Griffith. they're doubling their sewer user charges. Blame it on you.
Yeah, it's
Just you.
not, I've been blamed for.
A lot of things.
Like, you could call it worse.
I
You've
have
been
been.
called worse.
Anyway, but it's great. It's great news. I'm glad it's gonna be finally over. We can put it behind us, so it's good. There was no personnel report?
No.
So we'll move on to financial.
I don't have anything to highlight, but I'll take any questions.
Your question three. All right, if you're going consent reports, start with Mike.
Yes, our Hammond's quarterly consent decree status reports due May 9th, so we're working on that and we'll split that on time. That's all I've got.
Okay. I see Natalie's here. Any updates on anything for us?
Not really, we're finishing up the annual CSO report this week, so it'll be ready to publish end of the month, and that's all I got.
Great. Any questions?
Somebody just thought of, really past minutes, you guys, your company, you guys, were doing something on the double disc system, correct?
The disc filter,
Yes.
yeah, so that came up as part. That came up originally as part of the Leopardo project, evaluating if we could fit replacing the existing sand filters with tertiary disc filters instead. It didn't end up fitting as part of that project. Could pick it back up in the future, but it got dropped and wasn't financial there.
Thanks.
All right, so we'll move on to resolutions. Resolution number 8-2023. A resolution by the Board of Sanitary Commissioners of the Sanitary District of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana. Determining certain equipment of the district to be surplus and providing for its sale.
Motion to approve?
A motion and second. Any questions on the motion?
I got a dumb question. I was reading this and something struck me and maybe perhaps it's just boilerplate. There was a part of a sentence that says, discussing vehicles that have been left in the custody of an officer or employee of the district and have remained unclaimed for more than 1 year.
I know it's goofy. It's the language of the statute. So I throw it in. That's my template.
I appreciate it.
But it does, so if somebody. If you
Nobody
park your
uses this
car,
place as a junkyard.
if you park your car here and leave it for a year, then we can sell it. And keep the money.
They ain't letting you do that. Thanks.
You actually might do that now?
So when you dispose of stuff. How do you do it? Auction?
We do it by auction. I do two things, and since these are vehicles that could also be scrapped. I have Jeff put a report together to me on what the scrap value may be. So that gives me a determination when we do the auction, whether or not that bid is worth us to accept, or are we better off scrapping for people. So we've done that always in the past. It's worked very, very well for us.
The statute allows the board to determine that the cost of disposal or the cost of sale or disposal, to find that it has no value if the cost of sale or disposal exceeds the fair market value. So sometimes we put that in there. We haven't determined exactly how we're gonna do that yet, based on what Marty just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Should pass. Next resolution number 9-2023, a resolution by the Board of Sanitary Commissioners of the Sanitary District of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana. Authorizing execution of a temporary easement agreement and the release and termination of existing easements within vacated public rights of ways to accommodate cities Taylor Road project. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the bank reconciliation document dated March 31st, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to the claims approval docket, 04-25-2023. Thank you.
Second.
We have motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business to discuss today? Any new business to discuss today? Any report from commissioner? Any public expression?
Sorry, this is out of turn. I should have clarified earlier, Commissioner Hawkins, were you talking about we work on two different disc filter projects. There's the on-site tertiary disc filter project, and then there's also the off-site wet weather disc filter project that we're working on right now. So I should have clarified which one you were asking about.
So what are you working on now, which would be for proposed facility down south?
Yes, correct, yeah.
So what are you guys doing?
At this point, we've started work on a preliminary engineering report. So that puts together, first, that's a requirement for any state funding from Indiana. For the SRF funding from the state of Indiana, and then that preliminary engineering report includes a high level cost, it includes an alternatives analysis that's already been done as part of the long-term control plan. But it needs to be submitted in the state of Indiana, the IDEM needs to review that as well. We need to prove that this site that's been selected is environmentally acceptable. If there is no additional history of this site that needs to be taken into account, it's not a flood risk or anything like that. So that's kind of the first step that needs to happen before you can move it to design for the disc filters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, the only thing left is a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion second, on favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Thank you.